This is Tyrese Halliburton, and you're listening to Setting the Pace.
What's up, Pacer Nation? Before we get into our one-word podcast, Facci and I had to come back on Monday and record an intro because we had some news for your Indiana Pacers take place on Monday. So, Facci, the Pacers have a new assistant coach who they have assigned to the staff. Johnny Carpenter was previously with the Memphis Grizzlies. Interesting, now that Mike Weiner is gone, they bring Johnny Carpenter onto the staff, and they promote Jim Boylan to the front of the bench.
Jim Boylan, a lot of coaching experience, obviously been a head coach in this league with the Chicago Bulls, been around for a while. I feel like that's the right move. But in terms of who they brought in, Pacers did not waste any time. Johnny Carpenter, like you mentioned, not just been with the Memphis Grizzlies, but been with Rick Carlisle in the past. It's been a while, but I was with Carlisle in Dallas, I believe it was 2015. And also the ties go a little bit deeper, a UVA guy. So Rick loves him some UVA guys. He definitely tapped in, so you know he probably has a lot of different feedback also, in addition to the firsthand experience working with Johnny in the past.
I will just say this. I put the kind of resume on Twitter for anybody that didn't see it. If you're not on Twitter right now, if you're just kind of trying to avoid all the doom and gloom when it comes to what's on social media right now, whether it's politics, whether it's another Taylor Swift teaser when it's just another vinyl coming out, or whether it's Anthony Richardson versus Daniel Jones. It's just, there's not a lot going on great here in Pacer world right now as we're trying to wait for that to happen. But here's the resume really quick. You mentioned it was a video coordinator from 2014, 2015 with Rick Carlisle in Dallas, was also a training camp coach for the Pacers in 2022.
Great.
Spent last season with Memphis as a player development and scouting in a player development and scouting role. He served 9 seasons with Virginia, but he was also a student manager when he was there as a student. And then that kind of led to the opportunity to go and coach with Rick Carlisle and be a part of that. Because obviously Coach is very tied to UVA, but from 2015 to 2018 served as a technology assistant. He was then promoted to the director of player personnel from 2018 to 2023. Then he was an assistant coach for 1 season before he joined Memphis. So from 23 to 24, he was an assistant on the front line. And I believe Tony Bennett retired after that. So is it Tony Bennett? Is that the coach? I think that's the coach.
Nope, you're correct. No, you got it.
I was like, is that the right name? But he ended up retiring. And I think that's when Johnny Carpenter left, went to Memphis. And obviously there's some ties to Memphis now, Facci, because the Pacers did acquire Jay Huff.
They did, and this is a guy who's very familiar with Jay Huff, so you got to love that. So always helps. I saw someone, I can't remember who it was, someone was like daydreaming about how the Pacers could acquire Trey Murphy III, and here's just another UVA type of connection for that. So, hey, if you're on that train, yeah, dream big, but I think it's someone that Rick definitely is very tapped into UVA. Like I mentioned, I feel like this is someone that he knows, he's worked with, he's comfortable with. You got to trust Rick Carlisle. He has not let us down.
No, he hasn't. And then, Facci, if we're going to just move quickly here to our next piece of news, James Wiseman will no longer be number 13 for the Pacers. He's actually going to be number 11, and there's a reason why he's number 11. Can you tell the people at home why he's number 11 now?
Tony Bradley is indeed still on the roster. While that contract is expiring, it has not expired yet. So I think in this situation, you almost wonder how long this was kind of hanging over James Wiseman's head of like, so what are we going to do about that number type of situation. But I think in this scenario, breaking out the former Bruce Brown number 11, I think it's safe to say Bruce Brown's jersey will not be hanging in the rafters one day. As an Indiana Pacer, look, while that first half of the season was what it was, finally that number is being used. It didn't take too long, but number 11 on James Wiseman, what are your thoughts?
I don't really care. It's a number. I get so like, it tickles me so much when I see football fans get so worked up when a player picks a certain number.
They pay big in football.
But they're just like, I can't believe a quarterback's 25. And it drives me nuts. I'm like, who cares? It's a number. Why does it matter? Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't. I mean, 11's fine. Like,
No, I'm saying for football. Does it bother you for football?
I mean, no. I mean, I think now that they've changed it, like, I'm fine. Sure, it could look a little weird if like a quarterback was like 0 or something like that, or like 81 or something. But at the same point, I think in a couple of years, people will forget how it ever was. But when you think of bigs, hey, Yao Ming, number 11, so it's not always just a guard's number. So I think at this point, hey, James Wiseman, you know what? Maybe you need a fresh coat of paint or anything like that, So let's see what you got with number 11.
Let me ask you this question just for a little trivia before we get into our main topic on today's show. Can you tell me the last three players? The last three players to wear 11.
I know Jamal Tinsley wore it.
No, the last three.
Yeah, the last three. Off the top of my head, no. I would need more than a couple seconds. I'd probably have to really.
You just told us one.
Yeah, I mean Jamal Tinsley was like.
No, I'm saying you just told us one. You said previously worn by this player.
Oh, Bruce Brown. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure. Off the top of my head, I would need to stall us up pretty solidly and really.
How do you not know that, like, one of the best bigs in the league?
Oh, you talking about Domantas Sabonis?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sabonis, yeah. I mean, look, if I really was like, and all of a sudden it was just dead silent on the podcast, which we've done before, where you're like, ooh, this isn't really good for audio. Well, it's like, sometimes I just need to go into all the,
Your brain's been pretty good about remembering things. You brought up Tyreek Evans last episode.
Well, I mean, look, how could you forget about how failed of a situation that was? It was terrible. I mean, it couldn't have gone any worse. The man got kicked out of the league. But,
I know.
But
there is one player that was sandwiched in between Sabonis and Bruce Brown. Do you have any idea who it was? He was only here for about like a week or so.
Only here for a week?
Yeah. And ended up leaving the Pacers after playing a game for him to go play for another team, and Rick Carlisle broke the news in the middle of the press conference.
Oh, my God. Tristan Thompson. Yes. I always hated him. Always. Never been a Tristan Thompson guy. Never will be. We were legitimately a pit stop on that man's life. Like, we were like a motel. He wasn't staying for long, just trying to get in and out. And, Tristan Thompson. So I'm glad, glad it all worked out in terms of when you think of the – actually, I can't even say it, glad it all worked out. Bruce Brown, another kind of pit stop.
Hey, they got him past Cal. That worked out great.
Yes, it did. I don't have bad things to say about Bruce Brown. Like he facilitated what we needed with that contract.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, the number 11, I don't know if you'd say it's a curse number for the Pacers, but there's been some success. You got Bruce Brown, decent player. Domantas Sabonis, Monte Ellis was decent. Jamal Tinsley. Detlef Schrempf was pretty good.
Yes, Schrempf.
Don Boosie was pretty good. Billy Keller was pretty good. So, there's been some history of the number 11 producing good play for the Pacers. Yep. Hopefully that will continue with James Wiseman.
I would say all the guys that you named were very solid or better at points in their career. So James Wiseman, can you live up to number 11? Now here we are saying, like, all right, well, you know what? If James Wiseman's the worst number 11 that we've had, then, we've had some pretty good number 11s.
If he can have a better career as a Pacer than Tristan Thompson did in that 1 week.
Oh, man.
I thought pretty good. Tristan Thompson was pretty good in that week for the Pacers.
I think there was like one game that was like pretty decent, but I mean, overall, I didn't even know if he was going to pack his bags to come to Indiana. I thought this was just one where it's like, we're going to wait and see how this plays out. But in the end, hey, number 11 it is.
He played 4 games for the Pacers, 7.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, all in just 16 minutes of play.
Surprised he got those averages in that, but
that's Miles Turner's numbers if he double that, 32 minutes.
Yeah.
4 rebounds, 9 rebounds. Holy crap.
Yeah, puts him on pace for a double-double-ish. So, look, in the end, man, Tristan Thompson, we talked about him almost longer than he's been a Pacer. So I think you want to tell everybody what we have going on for today?
Yeah, we're doing one word for each player on the team. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We'll get to that recorded podcast we did on Sunday night. That'll be here for you guys to listen to today. So we'll be right back after this. What is up, Pacer Nation? Welcome back to another episode here of your go-to Pacers podcast, Setting the Pace. I am your host, Alex Golden. I'm joined today by the dashing Michael J. Facci. Facci, how's it going, buddy?
Anything beats lovely. I mean, I've always said that is always the worst introduction. I'll take dashing. Not bad at all.
Dashing Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Anytime you're being compared to a champion, that's always great.
He wasn't a champion at that point, though. So
no, you're
on your way, though. You were very close.
Hey, a champion nonetheless. Future champion. We'll take it.
Hey, I will say this: your son recently just celebrated his 4-month birthday.
He did. Yep,
bro. He is like identical to you.
Everybody says that. Everybody is like, he is literally just identical. I'm always like, you put a beard on that kid, it's probably just me. So
I saw the baby picture. I said, my God, am I looking at Facci like as a baby? Like, what's going on?
That is what everybody says. I used to joke with my wife saying, like, Maddie, my daughter, like, oh, you know, that's my twin. And she would be like, you don't actually think she looks like you, right? Like, just because it's a girl. I'm like, hey, like, I'm fine if my daughter doesn't look like me. You know, she could look like a girl. But my son, I'm more than proud to say, hey, that is definitely my little twin.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of mixed comments about who Fletcher looks like more, but I would say the older he gets, the more he starts to favor me.
Yeah, I see you in him. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sure Annie is not listening to this, but if she was, I think she would agree. She said that like some days he really looks like me, especially when I was that age. If you look at baby pictures, but I think he's more handsome than I was as a baby. I'll just put it that way. Like I think he's a very cute kid.
Great looking kid. Great looking kid. So I was telling my son, I say, hey, you got it pretty good. You got some great genes, kid. All right. So he
think highly of yourself, Botch.
Hey, I did all right in life. So you know what? The goal is always how does my kid do better than me?
And
So
that's very true.
Off
we just want to keep seeing everybody have more success than the previous generation. But with that being said, we're going to be doing a podcast today called One Word, and we're going to be talking about this entire Pacers roster. We're going to go through all 18 players, so your 15-man roster, including Tyrese Halliburton, plus your 3 two-way guys. So I don't know if you had everybody listed there for that, but we got 18 guys to go through. We're going to give one word to describe that player, and we can explain why we picked that word as well. So, Facci, let's work our way up to the top. Let's start with the two-way players. Who do you want to go with first?
I'll go with Quentin Jackson.
Okay.
So I just said improved. I just felt like it was like, you know, to me, all we needed to see was that one summer league game. And I went, oh my God, this guy's not even really a two-way player. Like this is an NBA player. I felt like Quentin Jackson could be on, you know, a few different NBA teams. So I went improved. About what from?
I went with relentless.
Okay, great.
Which the definition of that is extremely determined and persistent. And if you watch Quentin Jackson play, I think that perfectly describes how he plays, because he plays with 1,000% force the entirety of the game. So I would call that determination. He's persistent, nonstop, whether he has success or not on every play. I just feel like he is relentless when it comes to how he attacks the game.
I think it's the kind of guy who knows that every time he steps on the court, it's an audition. You know, it's an audition for a roster spot. Like, it's like, you got to, as a two-way guy, you got to bring it. You know, you don't know when you're going to get back in. And I felt like, you know, when he scored 20 points for the Pacers in that game, you know, when you know, Indiana had all those injuries, you know, early on in the season, I knew it's like, okay, this is a guy that has already shown more than any two-way player we've seen in the last few years for the Pacers. So, you know, this is last year being eligible as a two-way guy. I think he's going to be an NBA guy. I think it's a great description by you.
All right, let's go to the next two-way player. Who do you want to go with?
Go with Taylor Peter.
Okay.
I just went for feel. I just felt like I mentioned before, I've talked about this, like he's got a great feel for the game, making the smart plays. I just felt like in summer league, his fingerprints were just a little bit everywhere. Like, even though he's coming from only playing really 1 year of Division I ball, it didn't feel that way. It felt like this is a guy who like knows where to be on the court.
Okay, I like feel. I mean, that's a good word for him as well. Because I felt like in summer league he did have a lot of very nice feel with where he was supposed to be at. So that's a good word. For me, I went with raw.
Okay. Yeah.
I said, you know, when you're talking about a person being raw, the definition on the internet was new to the job, lacks experience. And I'm like, okay, that's like the perfect way to describe him, is he's just raw. And I really don't know what to expect. I mean, we've seen guys like this before on a roster, don't really get playing time, but they do have some moments in the G League, and maybe one game out of 82 they'll pop for a handful of minutes in a game. Like, you just never know. Like, I think he's got nice feel, like you mentioned. So I just felt like raw is a great word for him, because like this is a guy that was like coming off the bench.
Yeah.
For
Liberty.
You know. So
I mean, like, think about that. It's like
nobody had them on their radar either.
Nope. That's where I think it's like another potential gem by the Pacers, because it's like, even I felt when he was drafted, it was like, who? You know, you couldn't even find him on like a Tankathon or anything like that, or Kevin O'Connor, like nothing on. I couldn't really find anything written about him.
No,
he was like a myth or a legend. It's like, it was like Taylor Peter and Bigfoot. You know, it's like, is this guy real? Like, honestly,
that's the word you should have picked for him.
I should have said Bigfoot. Yeah, I really should have. But I just feel like in this scenario, it's like raw is good. Look, raw meat, don't touch it. Raw Tail and Peter. All right, all of a sudden it's like the athleticism's there. I felt like we saw him be able to dunk. We saw him able to hit threes. You know, saw him just like a little bit of everything. So I like that. Last two-way player.
Ray Dennis.
So yeah, so actually I didn't have Ray J. Dennis on here. I forgot.
That's good. Did you put Enrique Freeman?
No. I had just accidentally lumped Cam Jones in there. So Ray J. Dennis.
I'll give you my word.
What do you got?
Okay, so I picked fallback.
Okay.
Which means the only hope available. you know, if he's playing this season any meaningful minutes, Pacers are in a bad spot at the point guard spot. So I understand he might get some like time as like the third string center, but like I mean, I think Quentin should get more games, you know, suited up as the third string point guard if that's where they want to go versus him. I like him. I just think he's kind of small, and I'm just a little bit worried about how much he can actually contribute to winning. So I just said fallback because he's kind of like your last fallback option for your point guards.
Yeah, and I, you know, obviously I blanked on doing this one, and this is not the proper use of the word tweener because that would be in between positions. But I just feel like he's almost like he's a good two-way guy, but I don't see him as an NBA guy. We saw him have
incomplete
highs. Yeah, incomplete. I think he's great because we saw him look amazing in game one, amazing in summer league, like 20 plus points, made game-winning plays, and then the next game he was like 1 of 11. And I went from all like, oh man, all the great stuff that you brought. Now I feel like I'm just kind of like very much like this is too wishy-washy. This like maybe on one day you could do it, but on the next day you could go just like we said, 1 of 11. So I guess incomplete is probably how I'd sum that up.
Okay, do you want to stay with Cam Jones now since you just mentioned it? Okay.
I do. I'm going with attacker. I felt like I love the way that he attacked the rim in summer league. I felt like he was really able to get downhill, put the pressure on the defense, be able to get to the free throw line, be able to get to the rim. I would say.
Yeah, I like attacker. I went with a fun word here, unfledged. Okay.
All right. Yeah, definitely wasn't going to be on my radar when you said you were going to be bringing some unique words.
I went all out today. I was looking hard, brother. I looked at 45 different websites trying to find unique words.
Oh, wow. Mine are going to be
not that many. I'm being dramatic. Unfledged, a bird without adult feathers.
Interesting. Okay.
Does that not sound like a rookie guard?
Yeah. I mean, hey, unfledged. I'm going to try and find a way to use that in a sentence this week. I want to see if I get a compliment. Someone being like, I like that. Is that a bird without its feathers? You know, I could see that coming up, but
I got plenty more that's going to make you want to like.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So
can we go with Tony Bradley next, please?
Yeah. I'm going to go expiring. All right.
Can I give you mine? Can I give you mine?
What do you got? What do you got?
TikTok.
Yes, exactly. Like that contract is pretty much on the clock. Like eventually it is counting down, and you cannot bring up Tony Bradley's name without his contract expiring.
That was probably the most fun for me when I wrote that. I was like, is TikTok one word or two? Because I want to make sure it worked.
I actually had a couple of those. I'm not gonna lie that I did have a couple of Google searches saying, "Is this
I'm just making sure I'm following the rules."
Yeah,
I said, unfortunately, on borrowed time.
Yep. I'm one to break the rules when it comes to these, but there was definitely some I had to double check to say, is this one word or is it two? Who do you want next? Let's see. Do you want to go Isaiah Jackson?
Let's do it. What do you got?
I said physical. I just felt like it's like this is a guy you're gonna feel him out there. You're gonna feel him in the post.
Butcher some of these words.
I didn't want to say like what something about fouling too much because I felt like he cut that down the previous season. We had seen him, but physical, I definitely feel like is like he can make his presence known pretty early on.
Okay, Facci, this is a big word for you. Hopefully, you can use this in a sentence this week. I hope I say it right. Ebullient.
Oh, jeez.
Full of energy, lively.
Say it again.
Ebullient. Bullient with an E at the beginning. So EBULLIENT. Ebullient.
I don't even think I can attempt to use that in a sentence this week. I think I'd come off as
so you're looking kind of ebullient today.
Yeah, I think someone would be, what did you just say? And I'd be like, never mind. I think I said it wrong.
Say it. Ebullient.
Ebullient. Yeah, maybe. I'll see if I remember that a couple days from now. But
I'll
hey,
remind you.
definitely interesting. Yeah, please do. Physical is I think a good way to go about it. E-bullying, that could be another one.
See, you said it perfect.
Hey, I'll see if
I
I
told you
remember.
you're getting an education today.
I am learning something. James Wiseman, what do you got?
Okay, this is a very simple word, son. This won't be hard. Uncertain. Okay,
Okay,
not known or definite. And
I
I
said
think that's.
untapped.
What'd you say?
I
Untapped.
said untapped. I feel like we're
Okay.
untapped potential. Like I think we're on the same type of like thing. Like there's something there, but I just don't know if the world's ever
know.
really going to see it. So it's like, you hope you can get that out of them. You might, like we said, we might see it a couple minutes, couple games there, but will we ever see it consistently? I just don't know. That body's had some wear and tear on it. Still very young, but this is year 5, and I think that it's kind of now or never.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that James is an interesting player, right? I'm curious to see what he can do, but I was trying to find like a word that was like describing potential but still unproven, and it was very hard to find one word for that. So
Untapped. I don't know. So that's what I went with there. But yeah, I think that we're both on the same page there. Now I guess Jay Huff, what do you got?
Jay Huff. Okay, this is going to be fun. I said successor.
Successor. Okay.
Significantly cheaper version of number 3 in Milwaukee.
Hey, I said diamond. No. I mean diamond enough.
But you
Like,
did.
no. Look, I thought to myself, okay, what do I go with here? And I just said bouncy. It was a little bit of a cop out, but we've seen him that this man's got more bounce than your average 7-footer. Sometimes your 7-footer is like just like a pole that just can't move or anything. Like Jay can throw it down. I look forward to seeing a little bit more of that. Another one could potentially be underrated. I just think that he could very well be an underrated, pickup where we say, wow, I can't believe Indiana just found a really good backup center for the minimum or potentially even a starter on a minimum contract. When you think about how, number 3 in Milwaukee could be making 25, 26, $27 million per year, and you're talking about you just got Jay Huff for like $2 million, that is just an absolute steal.
It's a crazy difference. It's like 10% of what he's making. It's like we know that number 3 in Milwaukee ain't going to do 90% better percentage wise of what Jay Huff's going to do.
Literally no chance.
All right, who are we going with next, Foch?
You want to go Furphy?
Letdo you want to go first? You want to go first?
Yeah, you go first. This was a little tricky.
Okay, for me, I've got convivial. Do you know what that means?
Oh, God, no. What do you got? Just hit me. Hit me with the English version.
Friendly, lively, and enjoyable.
Okay.
Does that not sound like Johnny Perfect?
He definitely does look like a very friendly guy, and we saw him.
Is he not lively on the court?
He definitely is.
Is he not enjoyable on the court?
He absolutely is.
Convivial, baby. 3
I didn't want to put him into a box based off of that dunk, and I didn't want to say like
But he's had more than one dunk.
Yeah, exactly. I know, but I didn't want to just limit him to that. So I actually said limitless, and that's where I think that's like, hey, he can throw it down on you, but he could also shoot it, and you know what? He can rebound too. We've seen him do like quite a lot where I didn't want to put him I didn't want to limit him to just one category. Therefore, I said limitless.
Okay. What are we doing next here, player wise?
We want to go Ben Shepherd because apparently they're like the same player. We keep hearing these.
Do yours first because mine's very hard to say.
This was tough. The first word, this is bad. I felt bad, so I had to throw a couple of them. First word that came to mind, to be honest, was vanilla. I just felt like it's like Ben Shepherd is like he's like bread. He's like sliced bread. Every team needs it. It's important, but it's not going to be. You're never going to be. Oh my God, this bread right here. So I thought, you know what? Okay, if that's a little bit mean, I said hardworking. I said another word, steady. I felt like those are the words where it's just like he's steady, he's hardworking, he's not like wowing you by any means. Therefore, a little bit vanilla.
The word I have for Ben Shepherd is 6 syllables. I think is the right word. I feel like I'm an idiot.
This is one word.
It's a long word. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 letters.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I put little dots in between to make sure I know how to pronounce it. So bear with me if I'm saying this wrong. Any English major teachers out there, David Cole, listening to this, you can please text me and tell me I'm doing this wrong. Indefatigable. Okay. Indefatigable. It means persisting tirelessly.
Okay. All right.
Does that not sound like Ben Shepherd?
That does. That does. That is a good description.
Indefatigable.
Indefatigable.
No, indefatigable.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go for another attempt. I'm not even going to go for another attempt. But for what the word means, I'm going to say that that's definitely him. He's good.
I love watching you. I love watching you watch me say these.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm on like a game show. I feel like I'm on one of those like spelling bees where like, okay, use it in a sentence. Like one of those trying to sound it out before I can spell it. But yeah, look, Shepard's gonna work really hard. He really is. That's why I basically ended up saying hardworking. That was one of the ones that I had to look and see. Hey, is it one word, is it two, this, that? But you're definitely gonna get that out of him every single night. His effort is never gonna be questioned, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And now, I will say, if we go to the next player that I think we should go to, Jarris Walker.
That is who I had next.
Man, I had a really hard time finding the right word for him.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
I don't like the word I picked.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, none of my words are going to be in the same universe as some of the ones you picked, but I went with dynamic because it's really hard to sum him up. He can handle the rock. He can shoot it. He can block. He can pass. He can rebound. He can do a lot. So I just felt like dynamic to me felt like it was like, I wanted to say like initially like Swiss Army, but it was two words, and I couldn't do that. Wasn't gonna just say Swiss. So I felt like dynamic was something that could sum up a player that is capable of doing so much, but we just want to now see it maybe a little bit more consistently.
No, that's a good one. I said vigorous, which means strong, healthy, full of energy. Like, I think he is all those three things. I was really struggling to try to find the right word to come up with him. I mean, I think, what'd you say again? Dynamic?
Dynamic. Yep.
And I like that one. I think that's better than vigorous.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we know everything that he's capable of. Now it's just about putting it all together consistently for 82 games. Next on the list, I had Obi. I felt like you can go in a couple different directions. I went with explosive. And another one as just like another option, I went with athletic. I just felt like, hey, Obi is someone that I think athletic is probably what he's going to commonly be described as. And I feel like explosive, if there's someone who's going to throw it down on this team, he's had some of the best fast break dunks you could possibly ask for.
All right, Facci, I did pick a bigger word here for him as well.
What do you got?
Efficacious.
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 I think that's what I said, but at the same
time. You said F. It's F. F-E-F-F.
Efficacious.
I-C-A-C-I-O-U-S. Efficacious, which means successful in producing a desired result. Effective.
Okay.
And I feel like he is one of those players that does give you a desired result because 3-point shooting, you love it. Alley-oops, you love it. Fast break dunks, you love it. Better defensive movements in the finals than number 3 from the Bucks.
Yeah.
I felt like he was pretty effective throughout the entire playoff run. I think ever since he got past the trade deadline,
I agree with that. I agree.
Much better player. So efficacious for Obi Toppin for me.
Efficacious. All right. I know. I definitely do agree with like. I think he probably did have that mental pressure of like, I don't know, like just like, man, am I going to be traded? Am I going to be this? And I feel like the game slowed down from a bit after that. He became really, really consistent from 3. So definitely good stuff. Efficacious. All right. Aaron Nesmith. I've used this word before. I stand by it. Glue. I just feel like
I like it.
He's so like
Elmer.
Elmer. I mean, look, that's him. We saw what this team looked like without him. We also saw like it was a short sample size, but when Mathurin was in the starting lineup, and then when they made the move back to Aaron Nesmith in the starting lineup last year, I feel like the Pacers really took off. It was that same starting 5 once again that went on that run to the conference finals against Boston. And like Nesmith is never really going to be really the player of the game or get all the flowers or this, but like it's a couple 3-point shots here and there. It's a defensive stop over there. It's a putback dunk that makes a big difference. Like there's so many different things that he does well that maybe goes underappreciated a bit. And that's why I thought glue was a really good word for him.
Okay, you're going to like this because it's not a word that people don't know, but you're a big Sopranos fan. I remember you telling us that.
Big time.
All right, so we're going with henchman.
Henchman, okay. All right.
Loyal follower who does the dirty work.
Yep. I mean, that's him. I mean, it's not always the sexiest thing. You're not always going to say, "Oh my God, Aaron Nesmith really like won us this game," but like it's so many of the things that like other players don't want to do that he does, and just contributes to winning. And I feel
Cavs game 2. I think that's the perfect example. The rebound off the free throw miss.
oh my, massive,
where
massive.
he just slams it on Mitchell. Probably got fouled by Mitchell too, and then taking that charge.
Charge right after it.
Nobody wants to do that.
When it's a true story, when he took that charge, I saw a piece of Mitchell die in that moment. It was like he was like, I'm too exhausted, man. I can't, like, that was his breaking point of just like, I got nothing left after that. Like, and we saw it was like two different sides. It was Nesmith giving you everything he had and being fired up after that. And it was like a broken spirit of Donovan Mitchell after that, being like, all right, that's it. Like, I think we lost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a great sequence of plays that you just described on both ends that made a massive difference.
For sure.
So next, I got for Andrew Nembhard. There's a couple of different ways you can
Where do you got TJ McConnell at?
Oh, actually, okay. I had him a little bit lower on my list. I think with this, it's the same type of words that have been used many times.
Are we going with TJ right now or Andrew?
I'll go with TJ McConnell. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
I mean, you could just say heart. I got a few on here. I got 3 words because it's McConnell. Hustle, heart, motor. All 3 of those I feel like are TJ McConnell. Like that is what he's going to bring. Heart, probably the one that I would describe him most as.
No, I like it. I mean, heart and soul of the team, right?
That's what they said.
No, I actually wrote stalwart for him.
Okay.
And stalwart is someone who is loyal, reliable, and hardworking. And if those 3 things don't sum up TJ McConnell, I don't know what else does.
Yeah, I mean, he really is. We talked about it, recently, a couple episodes ago, maybe. But like when McConnell signed with the Pacers, it seemed just like a depth signing. Oh, 3rd string point guard, here it is, and it's just like year after year, he's somehow managed to get better and better and be more and more important for the Pacers. After it always feels like his role is expected to be reduced.
Yeah,
and that's hard. That's just like trying to be the hardest worker out there to continuously carve out your spot. And now in a year like this where the Pacers don't have Tyrese Halliburton, I'm thinking, man, we are so lucky to have TJ McConnell.
No, 1,000%. I mean, I saw this word. I was looking at like words for a different player, and I saw this word pop up, and I said, that's TJ McConnell. I'm going to go ahead and skip the list and put it on TJ's name. So, all right, we got 4 names left. We got Tyrese, Benedict, Andrew, and Pascal. Who do you want to go to next?
Oh, this is tough. These are all guys now where I just started to come up with like more than one word for, because it's just, they could be described in so many different ways. So for Nembhard, I got versatile. I think he's going to do it on both ends, offense and defense, but maybe that's more of a look to the future type of thing. So I went with competitor. So competitor is kind of what I think of, like, if you were to describe his first few years, like he's a dog. He is really going to, like, it doesn't matter who it is. He's going to guard arguably the best player on the court, and he's going to give it everything he's got. And I just feel like he's a winner, and he's someone that like you could just feel night in, night out. Like Andrew's going to give you everything he's got.
Yeah, this was one that I was looking deep into because I didn't want to be like nails, because like that's such a boring word compared to everything else I have, and I was trying to keep with my theme of finding interesting words. So the word I came up with was dauntless. Dauntless means fearless, bold, not intimidated. And if there's anything we've noticed about Andrew Nembhard, the brighter the moment, the better he plays. And he's an incredible competitor, like you mentioned, on both ends of the floor. He's fearless. He's bold on both ends of the floor, not intimidated by anything. He'll take big shots in big moments. I just felt like this was the perfect definition of a guy that is going to be leading this team, because I was trying to think of a word that's like someone that takes over like a leadership role, but you don't want to say like successor. Like that makes more sense for like a Jay Huff because someone left. But he's not Halliburton's successor because Halliburton will be back. So I was like, I'm trying to find another word that makes sense. So that's why I'm going with dauntless.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, I mean, just it's so true. Like that, he does not back down. And it's like we've seen him get in little scuffles, talk some smack with guys that are way bigger than him. It doesn't matter. And you gotta love that about Nembhard. So next, Mathurin, we've heard other people toss this around, and sometimes you could maybe say, oh, come on, there's only one of these or that. But like, I went with Mamba. I did. We've heard this.
Mamba. Okay.
Yeah, it's big shoes to fill. And many people could say, oh, come on, what has he done? He's not Kobe Bryant or this. No, he's not. But he has that old school, like, I don't want to be friends with the competition type of thing. Like, I'm my own guy. Like, I don't, if somebody said, who does he hang out with off the court? I wouldn't really know. Maybe you could say some teammates or something like that. But I just feel like Mathurin views himself as, he said he wants to be great on both sides of the ball. So I went Mamba, and also another word that I went with is hunter. I feel like he's someone who's going to hunt baskets. He's going to hunt the competition. He wants to get after it. He's not here for all the laughs and high fives and hugs and follow me on social media or anything like that. Like, he wants to get after it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think those are two good words. I mean, Mamba's a bit of a stretch. High ceiling.
It is. But I feel like when I've talked about this, and maybe we did this about a week ago, from a mentality standpoint, he reminds me of Russell Westbrook. Like, that type of, like, no, it's us versus the world. We're not going to, like, dap each other up and do all this like this. If you're playing against me, you are my enemy. And for that, it's very refreshing. We don't see a lot of it in this league, and I think it's a kind of like a dying art.
It's funny you say that because the word I had for him was Russ-diculous.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was like, is that even a word? Like,
it's Russell Westbrook and ridiculous put together.
I know, but after
Russ-diculous.
You threw out a lot of words I've never heard before. So at this
you need
point,
to get in your vocabulary book,
I had
Facci.
to at least ask, is Russ-diculous a word?
No. Voracious is the word I use for Mathurin.
Okay.
And that is someone who is eager or hungry. And I felt like this is a guy that's voracious. He wants a spot on the starting five. He wants to be a star in this league. And I think if there's anybody that's more hungry to be great on this roster, tell me who it is, because I don't think you're going to find anybody but more hungry than Benedict Mathurin. So that's why I went with voracious, because I like that definition. But, I think Mamba is a bit of a high ceiling. What was your other word that you said?
Hunter.
I like hunter better.
Yeah. Hunter, I think, is good. But, like, think about this. When you talk about mentality like that, it's like, I'm not trying to open up some wounds for Colts fans over here, but, like, I think if, like, Anthony Richardson had some of Mathurin's mindset or this or that, like, you know what? He might be a lot hungrier of a player who's going to get after it and want to be great.
Let's also say this. If Anthony Richardson had the stability of the Pacers franchise and the Colts franchise, I think that would make a lot more sense too, because the Pacers have a veteran head coach that's trusted. They've got a great front office that knows what they're doing. And anybody that thinks Chris Ballard knows what he's doing at this point, you're blind to what type of moves he's made over the years. I mean, the Band-Aids they put on the quarterback position since Luck retired, unexpectedly, they've tried, but it's just, it's not worked out ever except for the Phillip Rivers era.
Yeah, and even that era, I mean, not to go down a wormhole, but I was just reading all about this. It's like one playoff appearance where they made with Phillip Rivers, and they obviously had
They almost beat the Bills.
Yeah, I know. And then they had that, like, horrific meltdown with the last two games of the season. They had like a 90% chance of making the playoffs, or even more than that. Yeah, so it's like that was brutal. So it's like they've definitely had their slip ups, but, like, yeah, it's so true. It's like, it's hard to imagine Indiana basically have given up on, like, Jarris after, like, year one or something like that. Like, I know we're going into year three, still kind of wondering this, but, like, when you're that young, they knew that Anthony Richardson was, like, the youngest quarterback in the league. He's like 3 days older than Cam Ward, who just got drafted number 1 overall. So it's like, you got to give the guy time. You got to give him more than however 10, 15 starts I think he's gotten in 2 years. So it's not a lot. But
I'm not like the biggest Anthony Richardson fan. I wasn't really coming into the draft either because I was worried about the number of games he played in college. I just thought it was so few. Like, there were so few. Like, I just wondered, like, how serious of a franchise leader can this guy be? But I will say, like, the talent's there. Don't get me wrong. The guy can make some amazing throws. But I think the organization and the coaching staff and that whole group has done more of a disservice to developing him than anything else that's happened. Like, it's on him to a certain degree. Yeah, I'm not a football guy. But I would say that I think that there's more at blame here, aside from himself, on the organization and how they've handled this whole situation, because they probably shouldn't have gave him the reins right away to be the starting quarterback. They probably should have brought a veteran in to teach him the ropes and let him learn, especially with how much little experience he had, or how little experience he had coming into the league. But, they were just, like, trying to find the next guy. And I think they thought, if we just rip the Band-Aid off and give him all this opportunity, he's going to sore, and he didn't. And so I know we're not talking about the Colts on this podcast we're not trying to do that, but it's just, you're right. Like, it's sad for a lot of Colts fans that are listening to this to not have that future quarterback to kind of lead their team.
And I just feel like when the guy on the other end, and to kind of tie a bow on it, when the guy on the other end is Daniel Jones, like I live in New York. Daniel Jones was like the butt of all jokes for a couple of years, like absolute turnover machine. But the guy clearly has his head on his shoulders, right, and is like one of the first ones in there, working really hard. Just like, probably just is more mature. He's also someone that started for a few years at Duke, so it's like he was a little bit more polished on that type of things. And I think, how could Anthony Richardson ever get the reps if you're not going to really put him in there? So when you take him in, take him out, take him in, take him out, it kind of disrupts your flow, your confidence, and things like that. So, but anyway, last on the list, actually,
we got two. We got Tyrese and Pascal. Let's do Tyrese first because he's not playing this year.
I just went with missed. I miss him. I just felt like it was just, you could describe him in a zillion words. You could describe him as, the light, the franchise president, this, whatever. It could be anything of the sort, leader, special. So you could use so many different words. I just went with missed because all season long, we will miss Tyrese Haliburton.
That's a great word. I actually went with a different approach to it, Facci, and I said multifaceted. Because look, this season, we're not going to see him on the court, but multifaceted means skilled in many different areas. And Tyrese is skilled as a coach, as a basketball observer, as a recruiter, as a personality, and as a businessman. I mean, look at all the opportunities he's built for himself with his shoe brand, with WWE, with his streaming stuff on Twitch, like YouTube page. Like, this is a guy that just gets it. He's multifaceted. I mean, the guy got down on one knee in a boot, okay? Like, this is what we're talking about. This guy can do anything he puts his mind to. And so while he's not playing this year, there's going to be so much to keep up with Haliburton off the court that I just feel like multifaceted is a perfect way to describe Haliburton.
I think it's true. I mean, this guy is everywhere. He is like the busiest man. He's keeping active, but at the same point, like behind the scenes, he's putting in that work. So great. Tyrese, we miss you. It's going to be a long year, but we can't wait till you're back on the court. Last, Siakam. This was a tough one. I didn't want to sell him short, but a couple of the words I felt like didn't do him justice. I said dependable. Another version of that, I thought it was reliant. Another version of that, I thought it was constant. It's just like, you almost, not to say take him for granted, but he is just so consistent throughout and does just about everything like pretty well. Like, I don't know what I would say that he's elite at, but I feel like he doesn't have really many weaknesses. He's a really good scorer. His 3-point shooting's improved. He's a good defender. He's a solid rebounder. He's a really good, solid passer. I felt like just dependable, constant. I thought was really good.
Yeah, those are all words that definitely describe him, and those are all words that came to my mind when I was thinking of Pascal Siakam. But for this upcoming season specifically, the word that I went with, Facci, was paramount. And paramount means more important than anything else. And if we're looking at this Pacers team next year, if they want to have success, Pascal Siakam has to be all-star level, all-NBA level Pascal Siakam for this team to have the utmost success they want to have. We can talk about Mathurin and his new role. We can talk about Nembhard taking over at point. We can talk about Aaron Eastman having a huge opportunity here with more on-ball reps. We can talk about Jay Huff and Isaiah Jackson battling it out for the center spot. But all of that really doesn't matter if Pascal Siakam isn't great. And they're going to need Pascal Siakam to be great this year, even if it is in limited minutes, if they want to be a team that is trying to avoid the play-in and be a playoff team, which I still think is actually doable. I think they can do that if they click on all the right cylinders. So for me, I think the perfect word for him is paramount. And if you want to watch this podcast, you can go to Paramount Plus. No, I'm just kidding. If that was an ad, though, that would be a perfect segue into it. I was thinking about that all day. So that's the word. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
No. I mean, look, I feel like it's great. But like, I'm looking at his stats right now, and it's like, I think he could be headed towards a career year. I really do. His career high scoring is 24.2 points per game. He did it on 48% shooting. The last few years, he's been way more efficient. I mean, he really has been shooting. I mean, his half season with the Pacers, he shot about 55%. But overall for that year, about 54%. Last year, about 52%. I feel like there's a scenario where Siakam could give you 23 points per game on over 50% shooting, and that would be a career year for him. So I think he's going to have the opportunity. He's a far more efficient player now, better 3-point shooter, familiarity with this offense, everything of the sort. I think could totally add up to like Siakam could be headed towards a career year right when the Pacers need him. And I still think that like there are good years left in that man's tank. He's just 31 years old. He's 31. I think that he could very well be an all-star again this year. And if the Pacers are going to be swimming and they're going to be a top 6 seed or anything of the sort, Pascal Siakam is going to be a major part of that. And if the Pacers, aren't where they need to be, it's probably going to be because Siakam's getting double teamed a lot and kind of, just having to take on a little bit more than what he should, and maybe the rest of the guys aren't stepping up in the process. I think Siakam is the key for if Indiana is going to be able to, overcome the doubt that they have this year.
I mean, Rick already said that he's going to be their go-to guy in closing moments. Like, he's going to be the guy with the ball in his hands, and they're going to run a lot of stuff through him. So I just think it's going to be important to make sure they do not overplay him a ton of minutes per game, keep him in the right, amount of 20 or 30, 34 minutes between that time, minute range there. Maybe next week on the podcast, we can do a kind of building out the rotation, what we kind of think it'll happen. But I'm really excited to see exactly how he plays this year without Halliburton. And we've seen him and Nembhard have good games together when Halliburton's been out too. So I don't think it'll be as much of a drop-off as maybe some people are expecting. And now that you already know going into the year that you're not going to have Halliburton, like this whole entire coaching staff is going to find so many different ways to get him involved. So I would expect, like you said, potentially a career year for Pascal Siakam where he could maybe even make second-team All-NBA. Like, don't rule it out. This is a guy that's got that much talent. And you said at 31 years old, right in his prime, he got to basketball a little bit later than most guys too. So it's not like his 31 is the normal guy that started at like 14 years old, 12 years old, whatever it is. So he's probably more in like where a lot of guys are at in their like late 20s. I think he's probably in terms of like how much basketball he's played in his life. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But anything else you want to add before we sign off here?
No, I just want to say I thought this was a fun exercise. A lot of words I've never heard of. I mean, look, anytime you gave me a word, I had to say, okay, now please describe it to me.
I did.
We know what it means. So I thought that was great. But I also want you guys listening to chime in with some different descriptions, because I feel like there's so many different words that could be used to describe these players. It's hard to just limit it to just one. I think a lot of them could have been 2 words, but that's not what the exercise was. So trying to keep it to 1 word. Drop them in the comments of descriptions that you could see as good fits for some of these players, and let's just have some fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. So everybody, thank you all so much for tuning in. Facci and I will be back tomorrow on Wednesday's episode, and we're going to be talking Eastern Conference standings. We're going to go ahead and give you guys our thoughts on how we think the East plays out and go back and forth as we rank the teams 1 through 15, where they'll finish. And then on Thursday, we had about 8 mailbag questions that we did not get to for the first 3 parts. So it'll be our final August mailbag here for part 4 as we wrap up the month of August. And then on Friday, we'll have our Fan of the Week episode. I know it's going to be a fun, busy weekend with Labor Day weekend coming up. So take your time listening to that. But we appreciate you all so much. Facci, people can find us on social media at PacersPodSTP. You can find Facci at _FACCI. I'm an Alex Golden NBA, and if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that at youtube.com/settingthepace, a Pacers podcast. And please leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast on the audio platform. So, Facci, if you're hoping the Pacers can find 1 word to describe their season as great, then hit me with those 3 words.
Let's go, Pacers.
Sorry, guys, that was terrible.